Well, it's Tuesday, and you all know what that means. As you know, we have NXT. Now, the main event, of course, features all members of Dark State taking on Obafemi, Ricky Saints, and the former NXT Tag Team Champions, Hank and Tank. But the real question is, will they get along? Because we know there's been some dissension between both Obafemi and Ricky Saints. As you know, the NXT Championship is now in the crosshairs. But we'll see how that progresses. We got other things taking place. We even have, of course, the tournament for the Women's Speed Championship. So that's going to be a lot of fun to take a look at. And of course, battle lines are now being drawn for the next PLE, of course, No Mercy. So I can't wait to review everything on NXT. But first things first, as always, I mentioned time and time again, we will be reviewing to catch up a lot of the Yoshi Wrestling scenes. For today, we're going to catch up with two events by Sendai Girls. The first one, of course, was on the 12th of July, and the other one on the 19th, which is one of their big shows, of course, in Korakuen Hall. And this one features, of course, two championship matches. So we're going to be reviewing from A to Z on this one. And then, as always, we'll cap up our episode, as usual, with some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world. Pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us and click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, enough with the yapping. So, let's get this thing started. So as I mentioned before, we're going to try to catch up with many of the Yoshi Wrestling events as possible. So today we're going to be doing two of them from Sendai Girls. So let's get started with one of them. Okay, Sendai Girls in Aore Nagaoki. Now, I apologize if I didn't put the poster. I couldn't find it. I messed up on that part, so I apologize to people because I like to post, of course, the posters of these events. But anyway, as usual, we have Meiko Satomura, who is the founder and, of course, the trainer of many of these girls. Comes out and does her little promo thing. Like I said, I don't know what she said, but of course it's her show. So that's how we normally will be going throughout whenever we do any of the Sendai Girls reviews. And this event took place, of course, on the 13th of July. Now, our first match, we have Zones, who is our current Evolution Women's Strong Champion, taking on Yuna. Now, of course, Zones, we have seen her how much she has grown, how much stronger she has become. Yuna, on the other hand, she is more of like, how do you say, much of the junior heavyweight competitor type, you know. So it's a good combination to see how who will come out on top. But in the end, it was it was Zones who walked away with the win when she applied, of course, a lariat, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, our next match, we have Yurika Oka taking on Lady Destroyer Hiroyu Matsumoto. Now, Yurika Oka, as you know, she is a real fun character to enjoy. But when it comes to Hiroyu Matsumoto, she is a bit of a powerhouse that you don't want to be in the crosshairs. So basically, Oka has to do whatever it takes not to get plundered by her powerhouse in any way possible. But unfortunately, that did not do any well because Hiroyu Matsumoto was able to come on top when she applied a chokehold, and of course, she had no choice but to tap. So the match goes to Hiroyu Matsumoto with the victory. Now our next match is tag team action. We have Miku Kane teaming up with Miyuki Takase, taking on Chi-Chi and Dash Shizako. Interesting combination on that part between Chi-Chi and Dash. I mean, I know they have faced off before, but interesting that they team up. Now, of course, Miku Kane and Chi-Chi, as you know, they're teammates. They're both been aligned with Suri, which is interesting, but it's good for their growth. You know, sometimes they face off each other, whether it's in singles competition or in tag team competition, however you want to put it. But in the end, it was Dash who walked away with the win when she applied a frog splash onto, of course, onto Miku Kane, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, during the post-match promo, Dash decided to give some word to Kane. I'm not sure if she was giving her props, seeing how much she has grown. Because, of course, for those who know this, Miku Kane is not officially part of the Sendai Girls promotion. She's part of the T-Hearts group, led by Yumiko Hota, who also is one of Suri's friends, mentors, actually. And, of course, Chi-Chi actually is learning a lot from Suri herself, who made her stronger. So I don't know what they're saying, but it seems like Miku Kane kind of showed a lot of respect to her, knowing that it may not be a part of the promotion, but they're showing her a lot of respect. Now, our main event, we have Ryu Mizunami teaming up with Mika Iwata, taking on Team 200 Kilograms, Yu and Shihiro Hashimoto. So, of course, this is one of those matches where, of course, we're going to see, of course, Mizunami try to put in a bit of the powerhouse capabilities in this match because she's facing against two other opponents who are bigger than her. And that kind of plays out. But Mika Iwata, I have to say, she is the type of person you would say will not back down from a fight, no matter how big you are. She is always up for a fight no matter what. But unfortunately, she ended up on the last ride by Hashimoto, and just like that, I was like, oh man, it was over. Now, I failed to mention that in this match, it's a bit of a preview because on the next event, Team 200 Kilogram, Yu and Hashimoto, will be facing Mika Iwata and Miyuki Takase, better known as Red Energy, for the Sendai Girls tag team belts. So we'll be reviewing that, and I think we ought to do that right about now. Okay, we continue with more with Sendai Girls, and this is one of their big shows in Korakuen Hall called Senjo the New Era, and this took place on the 19th of July. Now, as always, Meiko Satomura comes out to greet the fans and whatever she has to say in Japanese, even though I don't speak Japanese or understand it, but that's how things go. So, let's start with the first match. Our first match, we have Sayaka Kurara. If many of you know her from Stardom, she actually made her appearance in Sendai Girls, and she faces against Manami. Now, of course, we all can say Sakura has grown significantly for a long time. We all have high praises, high hopes for her. But unfortunately, in this match, since this isn't Sendai Girls, we all could assume that Manami is the homegrown girl who will walk away with the victory, which she did when she applied a body splash onto her. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Our next match, we have a 6-woman tag team match. We have Chi-Chi, Unagi, and Ryo Mizunami taking on Zones, Yuta Suzuki, and Hiroyo Matsumoto. Now, what's interesting about this thing that I noticed, for those who know, I follow Evolution Pro Wrestling, which originally was supposed to be a Yoshi wrestling promotion, but now became a co-ed. Chi-Chi, who is one of the prominent girls there, she and Unagi never got along because Unagi had always had a feud towards Chi-Chi's mentor. I don't know, it was strange that they were getting along. I'm like, Jesus, am I living in a Twilight Zone? But anyway, I have to say, the match was pretty good. Not to mention, because I didn't expect Unagi and Chi-Chi getting along. At first, they never got along because of course, her mentor. But things turned exactly like I never would imagine. But in the end, it was Ryo Mizunami with a spear on Yuta Suzuki that allowed her to pick up the win. Just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now our next match is one of 2 championship matches. This is for the Sendai Girls Junior World Championship. Aya Sakura makes her next defense against Yuna. Now, as you all know, Yuna has been trying to regain this belt back on various occasions because, as you know, Yuna is the homegrown in the promotion. Now, of course, when this belt months ago during the Umajaja tournament, I think, Chi-Chi brought this belt back out of nowhere, and Yuna was trying to bring it back to keep it in Sendai Girls. She failed to reclaim it from Chi-Chi, and she tried again with Sakura, but failed. But this is the second attempt so far. So you would probably say that maybe the second attempt, Yuna will definitely try to regain it. But unfortunately, that didn't do any well because Aya Sakura was able to retain it by applying a German suplex. And then, of course, we did have a post-match promo after the match was over. I don't know what Sakura and Yuna Yuna said, but I do know there is another opportunity for Yuna to get this belt, and that's going to be for another time to review. But right now, we're going to try to catch up as much as possible. Now, our next match, I have to say I'm happy to see these girls reunite again. We have Baba Momo Banana, consistent of Yurika Oka, Miyu Momono, of course she's back, and they take on Benny and Aja Kong. Now, of course, when it comes to Aja Kong, you know it's very, very difficult to try to put her down. I mean, she's a legend in the Yoshi world, and of course, she's the one person you don't want to miss. But as JR said in the very first pay-per-view in AEW in Double or Nothing back in 2019, I believe, she's the kind of woman you don't see making biscuits. He's not wrong, but in the end, it was Benny who walked away with the win with a moonsault onto Yurika Oka, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, our next match is a hardcore match. We have Azuki from Stardom taking on Dash Shizako. Now, this whole thing came about a while before this. Apparently, Azuki made a surprise appearance in Sendai Girls, calling out Dash Shizako, saying that she's willing to challenge her in a hardcore match. Now, some of you may think, has Azuki ever been involved in hardcore matches? I mean, I would say no, but I would say she's always up for a challenge. Now, I know many people saying, when is she going to win the white belt? When she's going to finally reach the top? I mean, yeah, we all hope so, but we always cannot see the good matches she can deliver, you know? And that's one of the things that we might have missed out on her. But, I mean, of course, there was going to be a lot of plunder used. I mean, tables, ladders, chairs, whatever. But the one thing that was interesting, you thought by watching this, that Shizako had this match right in the moment. She was on top of the goddamn ladder, tried to do the frog splash, but she took a bit of time, and Azuki was able to move out of the way while Dash Shizako crash landed on a pile of chairs, and this allowed, of course, for Azuki to apply the Mahistral, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, during the post-match promo, I don't know what Azuki said to Dash. I mean, Dash seems like she was disappointed that she couldn't believe she lost. But another person showed up, and I think she was questioning her. What the hell? How did you lose to someone who's not even from this promotion? And I think that person was Aja Kong. Now, you can say, but Aja Kong is not really from Sendai Girls. It's true, guys. She's not. But she can see the value of every wrestler who participates, who are full-time members of the roster. And she's telling Dash, how did you allow this to happen? You know? So, I don't know. Do I think there's going to be like a part 2 between Dash and Hazuki? I don't know. I mean, if there is, I'm sure they'll try to kick it up a notch. I'm not sure. But yes, that's what I think. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Now, our main event is for the Sendai Girls Tag Team belts. We have Team 200 kilograms, Yu and Shihiro Hashimoto taking on Red Energy, Miyuki Takase and Mika Iwata. Now, of course, this is one of those matches where Red Energy have to pull all the stops as possible because they know they're facing in against a team that are bigger, stronger than them. Now, of course, we can say their speed could be a bigger factor. And not to mention Mika Iwata. As I mentioned, she is a strong, capable wrestler who is not afraid of anybody who's bigger than her. She always fights straight on. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case at all because it was Big Hash herself that put Iwata in a last ride, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. And of course, we did have a post-match promo, and all the members of the Sendai Girls roster just appeared. We did not see the girls from Stardom or Chi-Chi the Beat Ball or anybody. These are the girls who are in fact full-time members, like of course Yu and Miyuki Takase and a few other more. So these girls are in fact part of it. So it's like, as you know, this is a new era that has begun, which makes absolute sense. So we'll see what happens for the upcoming events we will review from Sendai Girls. But right now we are done with Sendai Girls. Let's move on with our last and final review, NXT. Okay, final review, NXT. We open up with Jada Parker versus Lash Legend. Now, as you probably know, Jada Parker has been trying to push herself to the top of the mountain, but Lash Legend feels, sorry girl, you just fumbled the ball. That means you're not good enough. But that leads me that I will take the top spot regardless. So that's always been the case because we know Jada Parker has the capability. We know she has the tools necessary to get to the top of the mountain. But however, of course, when it comes to that, you know somebody is trying to say, oh, hell no, bitch, you're not going there. So that was the whole point of the whole thing. Now, of course, Jada Parker, we have seen her how she has fought tooth and nail to get to there. But unfortunately, Lash Legend was able to apply the lash extension, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. However, during the post-match, well, you can say that it's not over until the fat lady sings. Well, Jada Parker decided not to let this go, but one thing that was crazy, she put Lash through the barricade, showing her, I'm not playing here. So you can say this whole thing is not even over by a long shot. Now, Blake Monroe was in the back talking with Aore Grace. Now, however, things got out of control when, of course, walking through the door is the juggernaut, Jordynne Grace. So you probably can guess how that turned up. Now, Javon Evans, we haven't seen him since he lost to Obafemi in Heatwave. Last week, he wasn't even in NXT. Now, of course, Javon Evans had to explain that he felt like not only he let the fan base down, but he let his family down. So he's trying to say, look, I'm sorry I messed up. But however, someone else had a problem with him, and that person was Josh Briggs. Because Josh Briggs feels like, hey, who in God's name gives you the right to get these opportunities that should have been mine? So things got out of control. And of course, You did see how Josh Briggs, he was trying to make a statement saying, don't stand in my way. I'm taking what is mine. That sort of thing. Now, before their main event, Obafemi, Ricky Saints, and Hank and Tank were in the back discussing about how this is going to be a battle that is going to be tough. But they did mention they have a secret weapon. So we'll see how that turns up. Now, as you know, the Speed Championship for both the men's and women's are now officially part of NXT, and they just begun a tournament. And the first round round matches, we have Zaya Brookside versus Candice LeRae. Now, of course, I'm not familiarized with the Speed thing. You only have 3 minutes, which is like, oh man, this sucks. Like, you have 3 minutes. But you would think that this is going to be a very interesting matchup. Now, of course, many people will say Zaya Brookside, she's TNA. Could she possibly win this one? I mean, possibly could. But it was Candice LeRae with the springboard moonsault that allowed her to win the match and proceed on. So there'll be more matches involving this when we get there. Now, Uriah Connor and Kill Dixon, as you know, got in the face of Josh Briggs. Well, apparently Andre Chase decided to teach him a lesson, so we'll see what happens there. Now, all hell has been breaking loose in the women's locker room involving the tag team belts. We have, of course, Fatal Influence, Sol Ruka, and Zarya, and I forgot who else was there. There was another team I forgot they were mentioned. Yeah, but so basically, there's going to be something going to happen next week, so we'll see. Now, Trick Williams, as you know, made his presence known inside the ring until he was interrupted by DIY. That's right, we have, of course, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. But they actually come there because it turned out it's their 10th anniversary as a tag team since they debut, which was interesting. And then, of course, well, let's just say Trick Williams should have known better because he got taken out by both Ciampa and Gargano. So they should have seen that one coming. Because as you know, Ciampa and Gargano may be, of course, in SmackDown, but they will always be part of the NXT family, which, of course, what made them who they are. Now, Javon Evans had a little talk with Ava. Apparently, she said she'll give him Josh Briggs next week, but as long as he does not interfere at all. So, but he was escorted out of the building. Now, of course, we did see this whole thing with Tavion Heights and Ethan Page going back and forth like USA versus Canada. So apparently next week there's going to be a flag match. I don't know what the hell is a flag match. I mean, it's kind of weird, but we'll see. Now, our next match, we have Callie Armstrong versus Jordynne Grace. Now, this is something I think everybody has forgotten. Almost a month ago, Jordynne Grace was on her way to get her hands on Blake Monroe after she stabbed her in the back in Evolution. And of course, Jordynne Grace was just seeing red because she is pissed what Blake Monroe did to her. And of course, Callie Armstrong's like saying, I haven't forgotten what you did to me, bitch. So it's time for you to pay up. Well, you would say Callie Armstrong is strong, but when it comes to the Juggernaut, she's even tougher than her. And she took her out when she applied a back fist and then a Juggernaut driver, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. But post-match, well, Blake Monroe decided to have a little, her pound the flesh, but apparently she started bleeding out, so all hell broke loose. So this thing between them is not even over by a long shot. Now, we have Josh Briggs versus Andre Chase. Well, you know that Briggs has been unhinged for a while now, and things got out of control until he took out Andre Chase with the side 16, and then all hell broke loose afterwards when he took out both Uriah Connors and killed Dixon. As you know, Josh Briggs is saying that he does not tolerate the fact wrestlers who come after him are taking the spots away from them. So now he's on a rampage on that. Now, Trick Williams, well, let's just say he hasn't forgotten what happened, so he said he has something in store for them next week. Well, we'll see what happens. Now, for our main event, we have Ricky Saints, Hank and Tank, and Obafemi taking on all members of Dark State. Now, of course, many of us would question, can Ricky Saints and Obafemi get along? Because, of course, we know that Ricky Saints has finally claimed his stake to challenge for the NXT Championship. But, of course, all hell broke loose between Obafemi and Ricky Saints at some point during the match when things were going good. Obafemi and Ricky Saints just started pounding each other and went all the way back, leaving Hank and Tank all by themselves in a 4-on-2 scenario. And of course, I have to say they did everything humanly possible to withstand. Now, the one thing that was interesting is when Cutler James says to Hank, "No one is out to help you." And then when he what's his name, Hank, he was being choked up. He goes, "Joe Hendry," and of course Cutler James, "It's too late." And then, "Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry." Yep, no one expected that. But one thing that was funny is, of course, when the commentators like, "Oh my God, he said his name! He said his name!" It's like, he said his name, he just appeared, and of course Booker's just like, "What the hell, man? What the hell?" Like, he couldn't believe it that it worked. Like it's like he's saying like he cannot believe that UFOs existed. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's what happened. But of course, Hank and Tech took out Cutler James, and they picked up the win for their team. But of course, Joe Hendry was there to celebrate with them. But the show wasn't over yet because we did see Obafemi and Ricky Saints going at it at each other in the back. So you probably can guess that this is a battle line now being drawn for No Mercy for the NXT Championship. So we'll see what happens down the road. So next week, let's see what happens between these two men. But for right now, we are officially done with our reviews. Let's move on to our last and final thing, news updates. Alright, so welcome to our news updates. Now, let's begin with upcoming events for all of you. As you know, we have Action Wrestling with Dean 3 that will take place on September 6th. It was announced that Billy Starks will be taking on Nicole Matthews. Now, two updates from GCW has been announced. As you know, they had the Evil Deeds event on the 12th of September in Detroit, Michigan. It was announced that Matt Tremont will be teaming up with the Bev, or as we know him, Bobby Beverly, taking on the Koger brothers, Atticus and Otis Koger. Now, some of you may think, wait a minute, this is interesting, because here's the thing. Bev and Atticus Koger used to be part of the that one group that, tries to claim that Ohio was better than everybody else, and that was the whole thing. But it's interesting, the Bev is teaming up with Matt Tremont. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen if I get the chance to see it. Now, another match has been announced for the upcoming Homecoming LA show on the 26th at the UCC. It's going to be a steel cage match. KJ Orso, formerly known as Fuego del Sol, will take on Sam Stackhouse. Now, as you know, this is a measure of revenge between Sam Stackhouse and KJ Orso. As you all remember, KJ Orso turned his back on Sam Stackhouse and attacked them right, of course, during a match against Atticus Koger. And, of course, Sam Stackhouse got a bit of a measure of revenge against him during a GCW title match. And, of course, AJ Orso has not forgotten. So, Sam, kick his ass. So, anyway, let's see what happens there. Deadlock Pro Wrestling has another show that had been announced, Super Battle, on the 19th of October. It was announced for Lisa Marie Varon, formerly known as Victoria. She will be at the event, but from my understanding, they're saying she's going to be doing a meet and greet. So if any of my subscribers are from the general area where Deadlock Pro Wrestling does their events, this is something for you guys to know. Then we have, of course, a collaboration once again with Prestige Wrestling and West Coast Pro with their next show called Strength Beyond Strength. That's going to happen in LA on October 7th. So I can't wait to hear that one. Now, on to our developments. Many of you may know this person, Noor Phoenix Diana. She is the first and only female wrestler who's wearing a hijab, who was originally from Malaysia. Recently, she's been now been nominated as the #1 contender for the women's WWE ID Championship against Kylie Ray. Now, there was a #1 contendership match between her and Zeta Steel, and now it's going to happen. Now, they haven't announced when it's going to happen, but it's interesting because we know that Nor Phoenix Diana has been looking for an opportunity to be part of the WWE ID project. And of course, if she wins the match, most likely she could get a contract with them. So we'll see what happens. Now, Bandido was on Battleground and talked about what a great boss Tony Khan is. Now, of course, some people can say Tony Khan is full of crap as much as you want, but Tony Khan, from what I hear from wrestlers, some people give him praises. They say they love him. They believe what an awesome boss with it. Let me share what Bandido said about him. Yeah. I'm very grateful for him. He always believed me since day one. I chose a different company, Ring of Honor, under Sinclair in the beginning, but Tony was very excited with me since PWG shows, and I'm just happy to be here now. Tony believes in me. I just want to say thank you to Tony, thank you for all the company, and thank you to all my partners here because it's such a great locker room over here. So yes, so as you know, Tony Khan is that kind of a person. You know, he believes in wrestlers. He believes what they can do. Not to mention Bandido, as you all know, some people would never imagine he would end up in AEW / Ring of Honor, but now he is. He's doing both. He is the Ring of Honor World Champion and the AEW World Tag Team Champion with Brody King. So it's interesting now that he's going back and forth. But it's real fun to hear from that. Of course, people can say, is he really a great boss? Well, Rush, on the other hand, he stayed with AEW when his contract was almost expiring, but he made a choice. The reason why he chose to stay was because Tony Khan was a good boss in every way possible. Some may question, what exactly was he a good boss for? Well, Rush had to leave, take a time off from wrestling because his wife was in labor with their daughter, and he hasn't come back yet from there. But Tony called Rush, asked him, like, he wasn't there when he's going to come back to work. He asked him, hey, Rush, how's it going? How's your wife and daughter? And Rush said that he never had a boss that actually asked how his wife and daughter is. And it shows the kind of person Tony Khan is. Like, he's not there to talk to you about if you're coming back to work. He's asking, how's things been going with you, man? How's life been treating you? How you been doing? That kind of thing. And I think that shows that wrestlers need a boss who actually cares. I mean, WWE doesn't seem like they care how you're doing. They just care when you're coming back, that sort of thing. But we'll see how things will roll up, because I know there's a lot of wrestlers who probably would say the same thing about Tony Khan. So for right now, I say we end things here and call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, as you probably know, we have WWE Evolve and AEW Dynamite. As you probably know, all hell is going to break loose with a lot of things taking place. Because, of course, the Don Callis family has their sights set on the AEW World title to reclaim it back for that snake, Don Callis. As you probably know, the AEW World Tag Team belts will be on the crosshairs, whoever want them back. And, of course, we're heading to All Out. So battle lines most likely will be drawn at All Out. So we'll see how that will progress. So for right now, let's see what happens. And if there's any other reviews, I'll let you guys know at another time. But for now, I will say this, that I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same BWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye, and have a nice day.